down. But they're not happy with OPEC and with their quota.
All right, yeah. Situation monitoring is commencing. It's time for big monitors of the situation to join in. Obviously, many of you were excited at the prospect of us monitoring the situation, and you didn't get that taste yesterday. But the United Arab Emirates is pulling out of OPEC Plus. What does this mean? Okay, well, one, my immediate take on this was they're just fully leaning into being dogs to both Israel and America. Their assessment here is to possibly lean further into America's direction so that America can give them a credit line, get them out of this current economic downturn that they're experiencing. This is something that only benefits the United States. Okay, like OPEC Plus losing a major partner, a major oil provider in the Gulf is unbelievably unstable. It is going to draw the ire of Saudi Arabia. It's basically losing potentially one major partner, if not the most consequential partner, so that you can use the United Arab Emirates. Okay, so that you can get something out of this deal. Where OPEC cartel is no longer as stable. OPEC, for those of you who don't know, OPEC Plus is an oil cartel. Okay, that's what it is. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, an intergovernmental organization and cartel enabling the cooperation of leading oil-producing and oil-dependent countries in order to collectively influence the global oil market and maximize profit. It's a cartel. Okay. The countries, as of 2026 in OPEC, are Algeria, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon. Iran is a founding country of OPEC. Iraq is also a founder. Kuwait is another founder. Libya, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia is another founder. United Arab Emirates is a latecomer, and Venezuela is another founder. Okay, so that's OPEC. OPEC Plus is the additional alliance, okay? There are 12 plus permanent members, OPEC members with 10 additional non-OPEC oil-producing countries, including Russia, Kazakhstan, and others in OPEC Plus. And the United Arab Emirates basically getting out of that deal means that they're going to be doing their own thing. They're not going to be held back. Like in times when, let's say, the American government is like, please produce more oil to stabilize the oil markets, to stabilize the price of a barrel of oil, and OPEC Plus, as they did with Joe Biden, can say fuck off, right? Now, what's interesting about this is that this is beneficial for America's short-term interests, I guess, short-term gain here. There is no immediate relief, though, from the United Arab Emirates leaving OPEC Plus. I have to say, I don't think the UAE's decision to leave OPEC is primarily about being able to pump more oil. It's giving the UAE's geopolitical rivalry with the Saudis for influence over the Gulf or wider region. Until this war started, that was the emergent story of the region, and it's unlikely it will reset after the war is over. They still have divergent interests and expansive foreign policy aims. Yes, you're absolutely correct. Especially because there are mechanisms already in place where you can just cheat and produce more oil if you want to. Okay, like it's incredibly stupid. I think from the UAE's perspective, this is an unbelievably stupid move because it's going to piss off Saudi Arabia. And guess what's going to happen eventually? Saudi Arabia is going to fucking invade the United Arab Emirates. Okay, it's so stupid. I feel like every decision that the United States of America has made so far in this war is basically to nuke the Gulf, okay? To render it unusable, unsalvageable, just destroy it entirely. Who gives a fuck? So this is good for average Americans? Doesn't OPEC limit oil production to increase profits? Brother, what do you think is the actual... Okay. What do you think currently is the real problem as far as global oil prices. Do you think it's because the United Arab Emirates is simply not producing enough oil? Or do you think there's another far more consequential problem happening in the Strait of Hormuz right now? Why do we monitor the situation every day, chatter? The Strait of Hormuz is closed. It doesn't matter if the UAE is no longer a part of OPEC or OPEC Plus. Okay? It is totally irrelevant to the current problem. Okay? The UAE is backing the American horse here, thinking that America will respond in kind, thinking that America will turn the UAE into the Arab version of Israel, right? The Muslim Israel. It's not going to happen. It's an unbelievably stupid decision, in my opinion, because we already know how little America cares about the United Arab Emirates or about any of the other Gulf countries. We have watched these Gulf countries turn the American bases they have into missile sponges and then craters. Okay? That's how little they give a shit about Dubai. That's how little they give a shit about Abu Dhabi. That's how little they give a shit about all of the Emirates. United or not. Okay? So for these fucking dipshits to turn around and be like, oh, well, if we lean even further into America, perhaps they will protect us, is an unbelievably stupid decision to make when all of the evidence so far has shown that they do not give a fuck about you, dog. It's crazy.
Why would they do something so destructive to OPEC and in such a fashion like today?
I don't think they see it, Richard, as destructive. I spoke to one senior advisor to the UAE in the last 2 hours. He said, let's describe it as strategic.
They really don't have a choice, though? Wait, what? Yes, they do. What the fuck are you talking about? Leaning into pre-existing fucking commitments is actually, like, leaning into pre-existing regional commitments is probably a much smarter long-term solution for stability than leaning into the guys that have caused this current iteration of the conflict. It's an incredibly dumb decision. Anyway,
autonomy, the ability to make its own decisions going forward. This has been in kind of the rumor mill for the last 3 or 4 years, and the UAE was actually considering making this decision beforehand. For those of us who like to read the smoke signals, and I just came back from the region this morning. I was in the UAE and Riyadh for the last week. I heard hints of a realignment by the UAE, and I would kind of lean in and suggest this may be the first of other decisions by the UAE going forward. I think the smoke signals were the fact that there was a GCC summit in Jeddah today. The president of the UAE did not attend. He sent the foreign minister / deputy prime minister to that meeting. So many read a lot into that this decision was happening on the day of the GCC summit. And I think, Richard,
it's not a good development, but UAE is doing what's right in their financial interest. I think it's an unbelievably stupid decision for long-term consequences. I think it's going to have terrible long-term consequences. It's going to backfire. That's what I think.
Cuffed in this current situation, as Suhail Mazrui was suggesting in his interview, they've made a lot of contributions, but a lot of sacrifice, and being capped at 3.4 million barrels a day. Just think about this number here, at 3.3 million.
I'm telling you right now, I think Saudi Arabia, the moment that they get a fucking chance to do this, I think Saudi Arabia is just going to invade. And if you think I'm crazy about this, buddy, they literally almost invaded Qatar, okay? And they were supposed to do that alongside the United Arab Emirates, ironically enough. But they're fucking crazy. Saudi Arabia's gonna be like, okay, we're annexing the United Arab Emirates. It's gonna be really united now.
Barrels a day at $90 a barrel. They make a lot less than they would at 5 million barrels a day. In fact, it's a 50 billion.
Fuck's the UAE gonna do, bro? Hire more Colombian mercenaries? Flip their phone extra hard for aura farming videos?
difference between 3.3 and 5 million barrels.
Saudi pop is 30 million. They're flat as fuck. The U.S. would destroy them. What? You think the United States would fucking stop that from happening? They'd be like, if you give us a more favorable deal on oil contracts, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Use them like a fleshlight.
That's the bottom line.
Okay, two things though, John. Firstly, I agree. The UAE has spent a great deal of...
By the way, this 100% is of course maximally beneficial for Israel, OPEC first, and the Arab League and the GCC. This is unbelievably beneficial to Israel. This is exactly what Israel wanted, just so you understand. A weaker Gulf is beneficial for Israel, is easier to manipulate, is easier to control. And I mean, a big part of the reason why the UAE is so excited at the prospect of like ripping apart OPEC and leaning into America and Israel is, you know, is so that, hold on, fuck, god damn it. Will you please play the Emirati phone flip again? No. It's terrifying. The UAE wouldn't have needed assistance from Israel and Netanyahu at a critical moment if Israel didn't drag the entire region into war with Iran. The lesson they should be learning from all this is that Israel is and has always been the biggest liability in the Middle East. Yeah, and what I cannot understand for the life of me is how they don't recognize that Israel started this conflict, right? And didn't do anything to defend the UAE. It's not like they started the conflict and they just sat idly by as your investments turn into fucking dust. And you're like, yeah, these are the reliable partners, I think. You're never going to be Israel, little bro. You're too brown, okay? You're too Arab. You're too Muslim. These guys are never going to be like, okay, you're the new Israel now. It's just not going to fucking happen. It's so stupid, and there's no better example that you will never be Israel than the treatment that you've gotten thus far. Mike Huckabee's out here being like the Greater Israel Project is the most important thing, is the most consequential thing. You don't have the same runway. You don't have the zealots. You don't have the evangelical Zionists and their unbelievable fervor in defense of your interests. Like, it's just not going to happen. There's no equivalence here.
Money on its infrastructure, and it's invested hugely and wants to get a return. But its cost of production is relatively low overall. Getting that money back, isn't this about getting market share at the cost of other OPEC members by doing this? But the risk, of course, is that if not a price collapse, you certainly have a downward pressure because of your pumping more.
Well, actually, I think this fits into a very interesting discussion about how long oil demand will stay high. Before this conflict that we saw in the Strait of Hormuz, demand was projected at 104 million barrels a day. I think this fits into the category of make hay while the sun is shining, Richard. The UAE sits on about 9% of proven reserves. They see demand holding up for at least till 2040, about 100 million barrels a day. But you see some projections that demand will drop to 80 million barrels a day by 2050. So they're saying, let's front load it right now, have the freedom to do so. And also, Richard, under the CEO, the group CEO of ADNOC, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber, taking instructions from the president of the UAE, they wanted to invest billions of dollars, not only in raw crude and having a trading division, but...
Scoop, Israel sent Iron Dome system and troops to UAE during war. Yeah, that really worked out. It's fucking awesome how well that worked out. Unbelievable shit, dude. Plus, who wins OPEC nations at UAE? That ain't going to go well, pissing off the only people who were your allies in the region at the time when America would happily bomb them for a clip montage. I know. America did functionally bomb them for a clip montage. And the reason why I say that is because America used their soil to bomb Iran, effectively turning their soil into territory that is a territory that's inevitably going to receive blowback from Iran.
To go downstream into petrochemicals where there's higher margins.
Okay.
So they don't want to be constrained by OPEC or OPEC plus for that matter.
Right, but ultimately, John, I mean, that's a very interesting point you raise about front loading. It's, as you say, make hay while the sun shines now. But the US becoming essentially the swing producer because it's so vast in its energy. And you are essentially going to end up with internet.
I watch this guy all the time now, dude. Glenn Deason. He is the guy that all of my goats love going on the show of. Like, Mersheimer's on his show literally all the time, like once a week, if not twice a week. Same with Jeffrey Sachs, and now Richard Wolff as well. This is what you know how you guys ask me, like, what do you do when you're not live? Like, this is what I'm such a fucking loser, man. I realize how much of a goddamn loser I am when I openly say these things. But yeah, this is what I'm fucking doing when I'm not live. I'm watching this guy interview my goats, thinking why my goats aren't coming on my stream instead. Oh, the other one is, Judge Neapolitano. Yes. What is it, like the Freedom Report or something? They love going on Hog Napolitano's show. That is like the number one spot for all of the geopolitical commentary. Hang out with friends more, dude. Yeah, Judging Freedom. Thank you. That's the show. Yeah, Michael Hudson was on recently on Glenn Deason or whatever his name is, his show. Your news autism is unparalleled. Put me down. No, you're going to get shook. Here's a shaking for you. You deserve this shake. Anyway. Let's keep going.
And warfare within the oil-producing countries of the Gulf. And everything that OPEC was originally designed to create is going to fall apart.
Well, you raise a very interesting point. There have been strains within OPEC ever since the shale revolution taking place. So you see the U.S.
A double spike day. I don't believe in my 20 years I've ever seen this. 479 then updated to 499. Unprecedented. What's even more wild that the market has completely gone insane is that all three markets are the same. Is this good? Is this good, guys? For years, I have lived in awe of the... Oh, yeah. Napolitano's hairline is unbelievable. He is a fucking one head, dude. My man has a preceding hairline. Yeah. Not a receding hairline, a proceeding hairline. It's incredible. He's so awesome. He looks like he would be cast in Casino. I'm watching Casino right now.
Being the number one producer in the world, last month it was producing 13.5 million barrels a day. That's above Russia. It's above Saudi Arabia.
3 days in, no well exploded. We could extend to 30 and live stream the well here. That was the kind of junk advice the U.S. admin gets from people like Scott Bessent, who also pushed the blockade theory and cranked up oil to $120. Next up, 140. The issue isn't the theory, it's the mindset. Galabaf is probably one of the best posters. I never thought in my life where I would be tuning in alongside millions of Americans to the Speaker of the Islamic Republic of Iran's parliament to hear what kind of funny takes he has about the ongoing war effort. Incredible poster. Whoever is on his team, they're doing it. They're doing the damn thing.
Number 2, number 3 in the world. That has profoundly changed the dynamics within OPEC right now. Right. And I know that the UAE position has been, Richard, why are we sacrificing when the U.S. is getting more market share? You talked about the low-cost producer. Onshore, we're looking at about $2 a barrel in the UAE. It's a low-carbon producer as well in terms of carbon capture and being efficient in that way, and $4 offshore. So I think their view is, why don't we have that independence right now?
Yeah. It's great. It's great. Thank you. You're so right. Famously, when you're a part of a cartel, you don't get the maximum benefits. It's actually much better when you align yourself with a competitive oil giant like the United States of America. This is going to be really good for the United Arab Emirates. There is no upside here in the long term for the UAE. Of course, the American guy is going to be like, this is great. This is fantastic. They've been cheating us for years and years with this OPEC bullshit. They're a fucking cartel.
Also, one other point here is they're not really happy at the pace the GCC is moving right now. They have a very different strategy, Richard, and that is, for example, on free trade. The UAE has signed 36 trade partnerships because the GCC hasn't moved fast enough. So I think both with the GCC and the Arab League, we should start thinking differently of how the UAE sees that relationship and sees its future. That's some of the discussions I've had over the last 7 days.
Great. John, good to see you, sir. Thank you very much.
So joining me now is Faisal Abbas. He's the editor-in-chief of Arab News. Good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure to be with you, Audie. Thank you.
So I think most of us hear about OPEC because it has such a say in the global supply. What does it mean when a country leaves? What can they take advantage of as a result? And does it actually affect the supply for the rest of us?
Well, look, to start with, it is, the United Arab Emirates is a sovereign state. It is absolutely their decision. To broadly define what OPEC does, it's a coalition of the willing, if you want.
The UAE only gets the benefit if everyone else remains in OPEC and abides by their pumping limits. As long as that happens, they get to sell more oil at higher prices. But if more people start to leave OPEC or they increase allowed pumping, it's worse for all of them. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that you decide when that's kind of a decision that you make in the in-group. I mean, we're now doing game theory. Professor Jiang. You are absolutely in a more beneficial position if you stay within the cartel. I mean, I don't personally give a shit whether the OPEC remains, like whether OPEC plus remains intact or not. I don't personally fucking care. I'm just thinking about this from the perspective of like the Emirati sovereignty and like what their best interest would look like. And I don't think it is a prisoner's dilemma. I don't think it's an intelligent decision in the short term or even in the long term.
Countries coming together to try and stabilize energy markets. That is the core purpose of OPEC. This is why there are regulations in place. There are production caps. Sometimes they increase production. Sometimes they lower productions.
Brent crude at 120. We are so fucking cooked. We will. It's going to go up even higher, just so you know.
And the main aim is to stabilize the energy markets. As for the UAE deciding to leave, as I said earlier, it is their...
What's the difference between a cartel and a union? One is a cartel is the business owners getting together and doing that. Union is the workers.
Sovereign right. There has been precedent.
But yes, a cartel is basically when business owners unify. You're scum. Business owners unite. You're scum. Okay. Why am I scum? These guys never have a fucking they never have a good comeback where they'll just be like, because you're a terrorist, I think. I don't know. There she goes. U.S. commercial petroleum inventories fell by a headline 17 million barrels plus another 7.1 million barrels of SPR crude draws. Vindicated Jeffrey Sachs L. No, Jeffrey Sachs will say this is a market correction.
Of other countries leaving OPEC, including countries from the GCC. But, you know, as I'm coming to you today from London, where I happen to be visiting, it's the equivalent of the United Kingdom deciding to leave.
This is entering the zone that Jeffrey Sachs was talking about. The situation is untenable at $120 a barrel, so hot war has to be back on the menu. Or the alternative, which is, you know, retreating. Because we are forgetting that there is an alternative here. I know it sounds unbelievable, but the alternative is just pulling out. And I think, given the attitude and given the way that Donald Trump, behaves in a taco-like manner, as we call, Trump always chickens out, I could totally see Donald Trump just being like, all right, war is done, we won, pull out, and leave the Strait of Hormuz. And just make it seem like there was a deal in place, but there's no real fucking deal in place. And they just let Iran control the Strait of Hormuz and create, bilateral cooperative agreements with all the regional actors, with the European partners and whatnot. And it's not like Israel is going to continue fucking waging war with Iran directly, but Israel will probably still attack the proxies. And then balls in Iran's court. Do you go back to, pummeling Israel? Now, from Israel's calculation, they can't really wage war if there is a Iranian retaliation in mind when America is not there to defend Israel. So this could force Israel into restraint somehow, but I don't know. But I can totally see it. I can totally see Donald Trump just saying, all right, fuck it. We won, and pull out. No more blockage on the strait. No more American Navy blockage or blockade on the strait. We won. It was awesome. We did regime change, whatever. And then they just fucking pull out. Putting Iran in a unique predicament where they are in limbo. They can't get the sanctions relief that they wanted. They have leverage over the Strait of Hormuz, but they don't want to piss off the rest of the world, right? And I think America just says, yeah, we won. It was a big W, actually. And then all the fucking dumbest people in American society turn around and tell you, yeah, we did it. And then the Democrats say, no, we have to wage war with Iran now. Democrats take a fucking pro-Iran war posture because they just don't know how to talk about this issue at all. Rick Scott seen at Mar-a-Lago on his way to beg Trump to jail Hasan. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Okay, thank God you were memeing. Jesus Christ. I thought you were being serious. Because if Rick Scott is going to Mar-a-Lago, Trump is going to tweet that I need to be killed or something, just so you know.